Hello everyone. I managed to get at least half my costume finished so far. The second half should be on its way on Monday. While waiting on that, I thought I would get the festivities for this month started. So here are my first running thoughts on this year's installment of Scream, which is named for the original installment 1996 and acts as a sort of requel of the series that is a term they use both in and out of the universe, which acts sort of like a return to form. And, well, let's get started. Before I get really too into this, I think the best way, as per usual, when I'm talking about a franchise is to talk about the installments in said franchise. I mean, the original trilogy, which was released from 1996 to 2000, and I may not put them on the same pedestal as other people, but I definitely understand their appeal at least. I mean, I personally found New Nightmare more interesting, but that's just me. I, however, did not much care for the previous theatrical installment in 2011. Then it felt less tongue-in-cheek and more openly cynical of what was going on at the time. There was also the MTV series, which I've not seen, which was, I think, the last part of the franchise that Wes Craven had direct involvement with before he passed away in 2015, and I was under the impression that the franchise eventually died with him. Not so, apparently, because the same writers and directors responsible for the 2019 surprise hit Ready or Not have managed to breathe new life into this franchise in this meeting of both the old guard and the new blood, and not just the kind that's being spilled by Ghostface's latest rampage in Woodsboro. Yeah, sorry, I almost spoke there, so there's that. The story really shows, much like how more just over 25 years have passed since the first film effectively changed the playbook for horror, or as was shown throughout the ensuing years with many other Williamson scripts being adapted for film, and also subsequent spoofs such as the Scary Movie series also getting a share of the action. And 25 years have passed since Ghostface's first attack on the town of Woodsboro, and as a new figure has taken the mask in an attempt to make their own requel by in the belief that it works best when it's based on actual real events, sees his franchise as veterans David Arquette, Courtney Cox, and Neve Campbell return to pass the burial torch to a new generation, and I gotta say, I'm actually quite pleased with the result. I mean, I was skeptical, I'll admit, especially after the last film, but I think this not only does a better job of adapting to the new landscape of horror, but also in terms of making it a part of franchise lineage as well. In many respects, they took out a page from the 2018 Halloween's book where they figuratively and literally cut the BS and focused on the elements that definitely made the series notable to begin with. The mixture of horror in a small scale setting, in this case, is a town that's not in California. It's not necessarily as big as LA. San Francisco is no less notable thanks to Ghostface's antics, but also how that reflects our own society and how they respond onto crime and death, especially. And it definitely has a lot of things to say that are often shocking, but indeed thought-provoking ones about how crazy a lot of modern fandoms have become, and at what point does our passion become obsession, and what is the line between being critical and being toxic, and how degree does a fan become such a long-form fanatic that they're driven to become the masked monster they idolize so much. Yes. Well, I have not had a chance to rank all my films I enjoyed most this year just yet, as opposed to previous years. This is definitely joining the list. I mean, and the fact that it's able to make much more than the previous installment did. I mean, it already outgrossed it in just the first couple of weeks. Makes me making ultimately $140 million worldwide on a modest $4 million budget. It means, of course, this next one is already in early development. And whatever direction it takes from here, I look forward to seeing what's can be done, especially with the same cast and crew are going to be involved. And it is, I think it's also in many ways kind of like a surprisingly touching end to the original cast legacy as well. I mean, especially he is someone who's openly admitted to not being the biggest fan of the franchise and really not care for the previous until 2011. I thought I would start off the month with a good horror film from this year that did a good job at reflecting our modern pop culture obsessions, because the next one I have in mind, which I hope to have out within the next 6 days or so, is going to be on one that's not even a fraction as good as this one. You might say its resurrection is more like a zombification. Yep, I'm gonna do it, folks. That'll be all for now. And I really also like the ending dedication as well for this movie. For Wes. Take care, everyone.